You ever look at yourself in the mirror and wonder, damn, why does my life suck?
Yeah,
Well,
all
this
the
is the movie for you. Clown! Hey, welcome! Welcome aboard, everybody. Back to the crusty couch where everything is full of sunshine and rainbows and clowns.
Yeah, we just watched the movie Clown, released in 2014, I think, directed by Jon Watts, which, if that name sounds vaguely familiar to you, is because he's behind the fucking MCU Spider-Man movies.
Oh, yeah. Big names. There's a lot of big names. You got Jon Watts, you got Eli Roth, you got Peter,
Stormare, the legend.
Stormare. Yeah, legend.
Yeah. And
You got a
we
lot of good
also
people in here.
we also had the Weinstein brothers.
Yeah, Weinstein brothers in here. There's a lot of big names.
There is. I was very surprised by that when the credits were rolling on this movie. Like how many huge names were behind this for some reason. And when we watched the movie, there was really nothing extraordinary about it. I thought it was fine, I guess. It was a very nothing movie.
Yeah, very movie of it, for sure.
Yeah.
And guess what the Rotten Tomatoes... we just watched it. Literally just watched it.
Yeah,
So,
we just finished watching it.
From your impression from this film, what would you think the Rotten Tomatoes is on it?
Okay, all right. So I'm going just based off of like statistical probabilities here. So we watched the movie Bite. That was the last time we uploaded, and that had like a 55%. So I would say, just going based off of like statistical things that we've witnessed here, this movie has like a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, you're wrong, bitch. Bitch. It's 44%.
44%?
Yeah.
How many reviews?
Let me check. There's got to be a good amount. There's 27 critical reviews for 44%.
So that means 44% of 27 critics like this movie. Damn, that's okay. That's not bad, actually. That's like 14 critics right there.
Yeah, that's not too bad. But there is about like over 2,500 audience ratings.
Yeah,
shit. What do you think the audience thought of this film?
Okay, the audience, I think that this was a crowd pleaser movie for clowns. So I'm gonna guess that it has a 55%.
Jesus Christ! Wow. Okay. No. 37%. Actually, worse than the critics. It's like the first time I've ever seen like people hate a movie more than the critics. Isn't that's pretty wild?
No, that happens typically with movies. Like if you look at a movie like The Witch or like Hereditary, typically the audience score is lower than the critic score.
Yeah, but I rate those movies differently because those are definitely more critic pleasing as opposed to like the general audience. You know?
I can't believe I just compared Clown to Hereditary.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I think you're comparing apples to oranges here. Like way off.
Yeah, this movie was not very good. It's definitely not the worst movie that we've reviewed here on this show, but it's not very good at all.
Yeah. It's definitely not. But you know, it's good enough. It's okay. Let's talk about it. Do you want to talk about the actors first, or do you want to talk about the movie? I didn't really take a look at the actors very much, but I feel like you might have. So you can speak a little bit about Peter and company.
Our good old buddy Peterstromer. So he is an actor, because I was watching this when he appeared in the credit scene. I got very excited, notably very excited. And the reason that I did is because he is an actor that's like in pretty much everything. Like he's a very well-known character actor, where he's just in certain things and you can't really pinpoint who he is exactly, but you know who he is. Like he's in a lot of shit, dude. Like he was in like Troll Hunters. He was in fucking Destiny 2. Like he is just in everything. he's one of those actors similar to Bruce Willis, where if you just hand him a paycheck, he'll be in your movie.
I see. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one of those. What do they call
yeah.
them? What do they call them in the industry?
I would say like character actor would be like an accurate thing to call him.
Character actor.
Yeah.
I'm mainly talking about the dementia-ridden actors who dollar movies. Where are they typically called? What's the? We said it before. Back when we were talking about Kung Fu. What's his name?
Steven Seagal.
Steven Seagal. Yeah.
A geezer teaser.
Teaser.
Yeah, that's a pretty like well known thing. I think Red Letter Media coined it, but yeah, Peterstromer is one of those actors. He has over 200 acting credits in his career, which
holy shit.
Yeah, very few actors have. But the other actors in this movie, I don't really think they were in anything else after this. Like maybe a few short films and stuff, but like there are no other notable actors in this movie, which should tell you what you need to know about the kind of quality of clown.
Yeah, not to mention that most of these actors are Canadian. So it's so it's not definitely not the most budgeted film. Okay, yeah. Give me your guess. I'm looking at it right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you know the answer.
Yeah. What do you think the budget of this thing was?
Okay, the budget of this movie. So this Peterstromer is in this movie, so half the budget has to have gone to him. So I'm gonna say like $10 million.
Divide that by 10.
No fucking way. Was this budget $1 million?
1.5, yes.
What? How the fuck? Like, because, like, you know, like, before we delve into the plot of this movie, like, I think that it was relatively well shot. Like, there wasn't confusing camera angles or, like, poor editing mistakes that I noticed. So, like, it's a competently made movie.
I mean, that's probably just, like, the experience from, like, Eli Roth and them.
But Eli Roth didn't have, like, you can produce a movie and have nothing to do with it. Like, you can put your name on a movie. Like, for example, the Michael Bay Transformer movies, Steven Spielberg is an executive producer on this movie. But I bet you he had fucking nothing to do with this. He just signed the name. He just signed his name on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. But you got your team of directors, and then you have your cinematographer. In this case, it's Matthew Santo, and this is the same guy that worked on Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh, really?
Cinematographer for that one, yeah.
Oh, I did not. That's actually really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you care about the cast a little more? Oh no, I only care about your big actors. No way. Oh, yeah. I'm really a little guy over here. Okay.
You're a blue collar kind of guy. I appreciate that, Paul.
These people need jobs. They work hard, just as hard as them.
Yeah. Well, we've gone like 8.5 minutes now without talking about anything really about the movie. So the general plot of the movie Clown is, I guess you can say it's a horror movie about a guy who signs up to be it's a family clown. Yeah, it's like a clown-based horror movie, but essentially is at a kid's birthday party, their ugly child, the clown cancels on them. So the father, the main character of the movie, Kent, agrees to be the clown for this party because he's a real estate agent and he's currently foreclosing on a house, and he discovers a clown costume in the basement. But
he really did become a clown.
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah, he did. Even before looking in the mirror.
But he quickly discovers, Paul, that this clown costume is more than it seems, and it's kind of hard to take off. And then
bondage.
That all happens in 30 minutes of the movie, and then there's over an hour left.
Yeah, they kind of like football tackle you down to the floor in the first 30 minutes. So from there, it's more of like, okay, buddy, get up. You know, time to play the game. Concussion. Yeah.
Yeah, you described it perfectly. I was just about to say that. It's like you get fucking rocked the first 5 minutes of a football game, and then you have to play the rest of it with a gnarly concussion.
Yeah, exactly. And that is definitely how I felt because I was like, dude, that was 30 minutes. Like, where are they going to go with this? And
Yeah.
sure enough, like the remaining hour was pretty slow for the most part.
It was there was a lot happening, but it was very like poorly paced. Like
Yeah.
in the first, like, we're not even kidding here. In the first 30 minutes of the movie, you meet Peter Stormare's character, and he's like the exposition dump of like, oh, this clown is a demon, and you need to get rid of him. And like, it all happens in 30 minutes where you meet this character, he tries to kill the main character, and then like a car crash happens. Like, typically things that would happen all throughout a 3-act structure happened within the first like 30 to 20 minutes of this movie. So for the remainder of the duration, we were just wondering, okay, well, what the fuck is happening now? Like, what are they going to do to fill an hour?
Yep. And for the remaining hour, it was kind of like more of like, I guess, a journey into becoming this clown.
Yeah. Yeah. It very much felt like that, where it's just like, you just got constantly like random scenes of him becoming the clown.
It's pretty neat, but we walk through the movie because we're kind of speeding through. I guess we can walk through it a little bit.
Yeah.
After they find out that the clown costume is unable to cut off he's not too worried. He still has the nose and all that stuff, and he has a couple of attempts to try and take it off. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, like, it was so funny. Like, he's a real estate agent, and he sells properties. And for the kid's birthday party, he puts on this clown suit, but he quickly discovers that he can't take it off. So in the following scene, I mean, after he tries to like fuck his wife in the clown costume.
What? This might be just a little too weird.
Come on, make a little clown biggie.
Yeah,
which is where we discovered that people have clown fetishes.
Yeah, they're predicting it. They predicted it, dude. Have you heard of the clown fetishes going around this year?
Yeah, I have actually.
Clown girlfriend right now.
Yeah, people. That's a big thing in 2022 where people want to fuck clowns.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he tries to fuck his wife in the clown costume, and then like his wife is like, "No, I'm gonna go take a shower real quick," and then he just falls asleep on the couch.
Yeah, like insta fall asleep.
Yeah, just like randomly falls asleep. And then that's when he kind of discovers that he can't take the clown costume off. So he goes to work the next day after dropping his ugly kid off at school, and
his ugly kid. Yeah. It's the one kid that you're like, oh, that kid's ugly.
Speaking as an ugly baby myself, I was not a very cute kid. I saw that kid and I was like, this kid is kind of ugly. But yeah, after dropping his little garbage pail kid off, he goes to work and he tries to cut off the costume himself after dealing with the most stereotypical Mexican contractor workers.
It was pretty funny how they made him try and take this costume off the first time. He just gets like a knife. Right?
It's like a box cutter.
Cutter. Yeah. That's cool. But he has the bright idea of putting the box cutter to his wrist to try and take off his clown costume, and he's like, "Yeah, bright idea," and he slips and cuts his fucking wrist. I mean, obviously he doesn't die, but it's like he went right across the neighborhood, you know. So
yeah, it was so weird because like he tried to like point it towards the costume, so away from his wrist, but it still ended up like cutting him open for some reason.
Yeah, he fucked up. And he tries again with a different thing, a power saw, right?
Yeah,
but
it was
at least that one. At least that one, he pointed away from himself. So I mean, it's fine.
Yeah.
And all the while, you got the stereotypical Mexicans going, "Hey, man, that clown funny, man.
Hey, you need some help. You dress like a clown, dog."
Yeah.
To Miguel, I'm sorry. Are you Miguel?
Why are you dressed like a clown?
It was like, all right.
Yeah, it was very. I even told Paul, I'm like, how much do you want to bet that these actors don't actually have like this stereotypical Mexican accent?
Yeah, they definitely were paid to do that.
Yeah, I mean, because that's something that happens. But yeah, he can't take the clown suit off. He tries to rip the nose off, but again, it's no success, and it's like a kind of like a weird body horror scene where he tries to do it, but it doesn't work. And he makes himself bleed, and then I think he immediately goes to the doctor right after that, which we were surprised by because in these horror movies, these people never go to fucking doctors.
Yeah, I was actually curious as to why he just didn't go to the doctor in the first place.
Yeah,
I mean, it would
you
be.
think he would.
Yeah, he couldn't take the fucking wig off and stuff, so I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, "Yo, doc, like, please." It's like the Gorilla Glue incident, with that one woman.
Oh, with that one lady who gorilla
Yeah,
glued her hair.
yeah, it would have been the same fucking thing. I'm like, "I'm gonna sue whoever made this fucking wig. Please take this wig off of me."
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like the main actor, he always acts like he's confused, as if he didn't put on the costume himself. Like, dude, you were the only one in that room to put on the costume. Why are you so confused as to what fucking happened?
How did this happen?
Yeah, it's just like he's just like, oh, they must have used a strong adhesive or something. But it's like, bro, you were the one that put this costume on.
I think the doctor thought he was pranked at first. They're like, "Oh, you fucked up" or something.
Yeah, because when he goes to the doctor, he obviously finds it very hard to believe that someone could do this to themselves. So he's like, "Oh, you must have been pranked," but never at any point did Kent be like, "No, I'm the one that put the costume on. That's why this is so weird."
Yeah. Oh well, but no one believes him saying that. He thinks the costume is cursed or some shit. So he ends up going to a Halloween store clerk, and he's like, "Hey, like who developed this fucking suit? I can't take it off." And the clerk is actually weirded out by him, of all people.
It was so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she herself looks like a fucking clown, so it's just like that is weirded out, you know.
Yeah.
And Noah said it during the watching of it. He's like, I'm sure she's seen much more weirder dudes come up to her. So
Oh yeah, dude. This is definitely not like the first time she's seen a fucking weirdo show up to her workplace. Like it's crazy, because like she's immediately off put by him, and he's not even like hardcore into clown mode. He's just dressed as a clown, and she's like very off put by him. And I'm like, okay, like I feel like you deal with much weirder people than this in a normal basis.
Yeah,
but yeah.
And of course, as the movie goes on, I've said it from the beginning. I was like, "No, how much you want to bet that someone's going to be reading a fucking old book or something that has the details about this cursed clown suit?"
Yeah,
and I was right on the money with this because it cuts to an old man, Peter, for Stormare.
Come on, man, throw some
Stormare.
respect on his name.
Sorry, Peter Stormare. I don't know this guy. It's Peter Stormare. He's reading a book in the dark and making it super ominous, and they're calling him, and he goes, "The suit. Tell him to come." Or whatever, right? "Tell him to come here. I will get the suit off." And it's like, okay, like obviously he's gonna probably kill him or some shit. But
yeah,
he goes over there, and I just looked at my notes. I thought that scene was funny because when Kent was calling him, he's like, "Oh, the clown suit! Don't touch it! Do not touch it!"
Are you still at the house? I'll be over as soon as I can. But don't touch that costume, please.
Yeah.
Like, don't put it on or whatever. And the guy's like, "Dude, it was in the fucking box. I already put it on, man.
What the fuck you want from me, man?"
Yeah, and I'm like, Peter Stormare couldn't fucking bother to put like a little sticky note or some shit on the box, like saying don't fucking open the box.
I did remember that because like it was like a tense scene where he's in the car, where Kent's in the car, and he's like, "There wasn't a clown suit in that property, was there?" And Peter Stormare's like, "Oh, don't put it on, like it's cursed." And he's like, "Oh fuck!" Like the audience is supposed to be like, "Oh no, he already has it on."
Oh no,
that's no good.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like the characters in this film could have definitely fixed it, because we later learn that Peter Stormare actually had encountered the suit in the past. So it's like definitely he could have done a much better job at putting this thing away. But
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
Yeah, like like the way that this movie, like I feel like this movie kind of gaslights you like into thinking like there wasn't better solutions for these characters in the end. First of all, him putting on the suit in the first place, like when you go to an abandoned house and you see this raggedy ass, disgusting looking clown suit, why the fuck would you ever put it on? You know, even in an emergency setting, like I remember you saying
Oh yeah,
when we were watching the movie, like, why can't he just go to that exact Halloween store that he was at earlier and just buy a clown costume? Yeah, it was fucking weird. And it was just like establishing all of these things, like this logic in this movie, as if like we were supposed to know from the start. Cause like Peter Stormare is like, oh, don't wear the suit. Whatever you do, don't wear it. But he already has it on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it was like played up as like this like twist reveal, but it was just kind of flat to me.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, oh, okay, he already has the suit on.
Yeah.
But you know,
not yeah, they could have definitely done it better. But you know, it is what it is. Kent ends up going to this dude's place, and he starts reading through the book, and we get the exposition dump exposition dump about the clown and the demon whose name is Cloyne, and how it's been around for a millennia or whatever. And then we get like the best jump scare in the movie. The guy's coming out of like some like painted clown or something.
It's because he was looking at the clown book, and it was like, oh, his name is Cloyne, and then it cuts to the clown, the drawing of the clown in the book having like realistic looking eyes.
To entertain children. If only they knew.
And it's supposed to be like a scary thing, yeah.
It's like a creepypasta. Ultra realistic eyes.
I bought this clown book at a yard sale.
Yeah. And it started bleeding from its ultra realistic eyes.
It said How to Be a Clown Blood Edition.
Yeah. So after the whole book affair, Peter Stormare tries cutting this dude's head off because he says it's the only way.
With like the dullest looking butcher knife. Like we pointed out while watching it, I'm like, bro, Peter Stormare is gonna be there for fucking hours trying to get this guy's head off.
Yeah. Obviously he fucking misses and hits him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And I swear, man, these characters are fucking dumb because the Kent ends up kidnapping this dude, putting him in his car, has him gagged up, and then goes home and starts babbling to his wife, saying, "Hey, you know, I'm fucking turning into a clown, a Cloyne. I'm turning into a Cloyne." And then she has like company in the house, and he goes, "Oh, it's not as it seems, you know." And then they all think he's like fucking high or something. So they go outside, they see the dude gagged up and shit in his car, and then you know he has one of those like it's not what it looks like moments, you know.
Yeah, it was so funny where it's just like ruh-roh.
Yeah, whoopsie, my bad. And then he drives off, and they have themselves a little clown crash, and it's like one of the worst car accidents I've ever seen. They
Dude,
barely
that was
hit
so
like
bad.
Yeah, they barely hit a barrier, but that was hard enough to almost kill Peter Stormare. So grabs the body.
It's like one of the most pathetic looking crashes I've ever seen in a movie because like not only was like the smoke effect digital, like it was very clearly not real smoke, and it was also just such a light tap against a barrier where it's like this is like a sprained arm at the very least kind of crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he ended up being like hospitalized because
Yeah, it almost kills Peter's. I mean, Peter Stormare is a very old man, so maybe that's what it was, but
fragile. It's hella
he's
fragile.
fragile. Yeah, he's like, oh, please.
Yeah. And dude walks off. I think he eats a kid. No, he chews on a kid at a camp.
Oh yeah, they got the fat kid that is like on a summer camp retreat, and
Nice and plump.
yeah, he's nice and. I feel like the director, Jon Watts, was just like, all right, let's get the fattest fucking kid out there. Get your fat fucking ass out there.
Yeah. He's got the mom saying, "No, he's just big boned, honey. You're just big boned." No, he's fat. Get out there.
He's like, no. All right, so we need the fattest fucking kid out there. He's gonna eat your fat fucking arm.
This is your chance, honey. Get out there and be as fat as you can be. I'm not fat. I'm just big boned. Shut up, honey. You're gonna ruin your chance.
You don't want to lose this chance, sweetheart. You're fat, remember? But yeah, so
he gets a little nibbling, a little nibs.
it's like established that like an underlying thing that this movie doesn't really explain that well is that like as he's transitioning more and more into being a clown, his appetite is like insatiable. Like he eats all this food, but it's not enough to satisfy him. So he gets to a point where he starts craving children. He starts craving to eat children.
Only kids.
Yeah. Okay. Whoa.
There's a whole scene. It's actually Noah's favorite scene where. But he ends up at this like motel.
This really seedy looking motel, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm really not sure how he even afforded it. I don't even think he had his wallet on him at this time.
He did. There was a very specific scene where he pulls out his wallet to pay for the motel.
Oh yeah. You're right. But when the guy had the best acting in the movie, right? Where he like looked at him.
he makes like a joke like, "Oh, there's a circus in town," and then it just cuts to him like just reacting to this. It was such an awkward shot that it was so funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at this motel is like like one of the cutest kids like you can see.
He was a very cute kid, yeah.
Cute little kid. And he's like trying to talk to him. So he was obviously not taught the don't talk to strangers rule.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, because his parents were too busy like shooting up in that motel.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that kid lives at the motel, so his parents are definitely like meth heads or something. So, and he eventually the clown Kent he garners enough hunger to where he's like, oh, I want to eat more kids. So he decides to shoot himself in the head, and it's not enough.
It was such a weird scene.
Yeah, I kind of liked it though, because like rainbow blood splattered everywhere.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess we haven't really talked about this. We're all over the place, much like this movie is all over the fucking place. So are we. Yeah. There's a kind of like rule that's set up where in order to kill him, he needs to be decapitated. That's the only way to do it. And
I mentioned this.
Oh, you did mention this. I think you did, because Peter Stormare tries to cut his head off earlier in the movie with a dull ass butcher knife.
Well, we're mentioning it again, cementing the rule.
Because this rule is mentioned several times in the movie. Like it's not just the one time.
Yeah. So
if you played a drinking game for how many times they mentioned they need to cut his head off, you would die.
Yeah. No, you would definitely. They really hammer it on you.
Yeah, they really do.
Yeah. So he tries to cut his own head off. He goes to like a hardware store, and he buys two power saws, and he lines them up. And he's trying to like sit in a chair and then push himself backwards to chop his head off in between like the blades, because they're pointing up.
Yeah,
close to each other. But he like ends up not doing it because the little kid from the motel trespasses into his room, and he's like, "Oh, you clown! I love you!" and he ends up eating the kid. Oh no, he doesn't end up eating the kid. The power saws actually fall over, and then one of them like shoots into the kid, kills him.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He falls, like he miscalculates it, right? Like the distance he needs to, because he's sitting on a chair and he's gonna throw himself back into the saws to cut his own head off. But if I remember correctly, he miscalculates it, and so he just hits the saw off the table, and then it flies and goes through the kid and kills him, right?
Yep.
And I was
dead.
Yeah, and since the kid's dead, he just fucking eats him.
Yep.
And like that's what happens a lot of this scene. Like after the first 30 minutes, it's just a lot of like him eating children and then just like, oh no, I'm becoming more of the clown. Like there's not really a whole lot of plot that happens.
Yeah, it's definitely morbid time. So he morbs into this clown.
He does morb. I wish he morbed more, but not every movie could be Morbius, the masterpiece.
His wife eventually does find him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of interesting. I'm not sure how she found him in the hotel or motel. It wasn't really an explanation. I'm assuming she saw like the credit card transaction or something.
Yeah. His wife, by the way, this character is married, and if you were wondering why we never mentioned her before, is because literally this movie forgets about her until the end.
Yeah, she's only brought up at the very end.
Very briefly. Like she's in it in the beginning, the movie completely forgets about her, and then she's in the end of the movie. Yeah, she starts to like follow him around because he's like, oh, I'm gonna go cure myself. I'm gonna figure this out because he doesn't want to like harm his family. And she goes out looking for him, and because he's a real estate agent and he has all these properties around wherever they live, she starts to go there. And like the movie kind of establishes that logic that she has his key ring. So it's like, oh, she's looking at every property for him. And then she just ends up at this motel, like where he's at. And it's like, well, is he like signing for the motel? Like, is he selling it?
Yeah.
Because
really didn't know.
The motel room that he's in is in the key ring that she uses.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so you're just like, wait, is he selling this motel or something?
Yeah, very weird. Not sure.
Yeah, but regardless, she finds him, and like he's like, bring me another kid, and she's like, okay. Like she just agrees very quickly to bringing this guy more kids.
Yeah.
And she goes to the local Chuck E. Cheese, which is a product placement, like they got the Chuck E. Cheese fucking name on there.
Oh yeah, sponsorship.
Yeah, they had to pay for this budget somehow. And Chuck E. Cheese is like,
and Chuck E. Cheese.
And Chuck E. Cheese took the actors were paid in bottomless salad and Chuck E. Cheese pizza.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they show up there, and he's in like the slide, or like not the slide, but like those jungle gym type areas where you used to go in as a kid.
Yeah, the tubes.
The tubes. Yeah, the hamster tubes for adult or for children. And he's eating a child in there, and it makes all the kids evacuate. But the whole time, this wife is trying to find a kid to feed to him. Mm-hmm. And she finds one, this girl who's the best actor in this entire movie. goes up to her car. Like none of these kids were taught the stranger danger thing. And she just goes up to Kent's wife and is like, hey, I remember you. You're my dentist. I'm scared. Can you take me home, please?
Por favor. She has the Mexican accent too, even though she's a white kid.
Yeah, she does kind of have like a weird like Latina accent.
No, I'm kidding.
It would have been funnier if she did though.
Yeah.
Hey, can you take me home? Go by the liquor store and buy me some Cheetos.
Hot chip.
I feel like modern day young Latina women, they eat Takis mostly. They don't eat Cheetos anymore.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I feel like I see because we live right by like a high school, and whenever I'm driving anywhere and I see people coming out from school, they're always eating Takis.
They evolved.
They fall. Anyways, hey, comment if you live by a high school and you're not allowed within 20 feet, please leave a comment. But anyways, yeah, so she just like takes this little girl and drops her off like in the middle of the woods and then regrets it. Like, because the little girl starts panicking and screaming. Like I said, she's the best actor of this whole movie.
No.
So she's like, please let me in. And does she let her back in or does a cop come? I don't remember now.
A cop sees them, and I think the little girl runs away, I want to say.
Yeah, she does run away. You're right. Because she's the whole 30-second scene, she's banging on the door, begging the Ken's wife to let her in the car.
Yeah.
And then when she unlocks the door and lets her in, she runs away.
Yes.
And I think that's the last time we see this character in the movie.
Yeah, that's the last part, because then the wife heads home to see if her kid is okay, because the clown had said, if you don't bring me one more kid, then I'm going to eat our son.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then she shows up back home and the clown is there and her dad is there and her dad's like, "Oh, what the hell is going on?" And then the clown just eats him.
Yes.
And it's just like such a weird and rushed final act that like doesn't really feel like it like built up to it properly, because like the movie's trying to make you feel like, oh man, like this wife is so conflicted about like killing her husband, but like we mentioned earlier, the wife literally disappears like halfway through this movie and doesn't come back until the end.
Yeah.
So it's not properly set up.
Yeah. It's a little of a miss there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, like after the wife's dad dies, there's like a chase scene where they go to like the basement, I think. And then she like uses her son as bait, I think, and then uses a chain to tie the clown up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then Paul was like, "Oh, this clown is gonna go after the kid so much so that he cuts his own head off using the chain, and that's how he's gonna die." And the movie really makes you think that that's gonna happen.
It got really close. I was like, "Oh man, I was gonna make a fuckload of money here from Noah's wallet."
It's so true. Close. Yeah, it's true. We bet like $10,000 on it, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, Noah was shaking in his little clown boots.
Yeah, to get into the role, I was wearing clown shoes throughout the whole movie.
Whole clown outfit.
Yeah. But
he's not even wearing anything. He's just looks in the mirror.
I'm butt ass naked, and I just have the clown shoes on.
Yeah, no, it gets a little clowny at times. Yeah.
Just clowning around. But yeah, so he's like trapped in the basement and he's chained up, and then the mom uses a sledgehammer to cut off his head, which we thought was fucking bizarre.
Yeah. I guess the way to explain it is they hit the clown with enough force that enough downward force that caused their head to get chopped off by the chain, I guess.
Yeah, it was so fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
had to pull his head off the rest of the way because it was connected still or whatever.
Yeah, there was like a fake out scare where he's like, oh, he's not really dead, but and then he comes back and like, yeah, and she pulls the head off with her hands, and then like the skin kind of degrades a little bit, so it makes it look like she just murdered her husband.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the movie, we were like, oh shit, like it's gonna look like the movie's gonna frame it as if this woman just killed her husband.
Nope. Nothing
But
happens.
nope, and then the movie just fades to black and then it
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah. And I was pretty disappointed about that because we actually didn't talk about this, but she had a little clown baby being born inside her.
Well, we don't know that. The movie kind of implies it, but
We'll never
it's
know.
not 100% established. Yeah, because she like reaches for her stomach and like tries to like squeeze it, and then it's implied that they fuck while he's in the clown costume.
Yeah.
So
We'll never know.
yeah, I don't know, but
She got a little clowny too.
yeah, I feel like the ideas that we had for this movie were better than what was executed.
Yeah, I would have loved to see a little baby born with like a clown nose. It's been cool.
Yeah, and I would have loved to have seen her get arrested for like killing her husband, and she's like, "No, it was the clown this whole time."
Yeah, but
Yeah.
well, you know, we're a little smarter than Eli Roth and company, you know. So
Well, I'm not a very big fan of Eli Roth personally, so you
yeah,
know.
well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry, Jon Watts. I should have been writing Spider-Man instead of you.
Oh, and it's funny because it's funny that you mentioned that because like we were talking about it, and I think you said something along the lines of like, it's crazy that he was hired to direct the Spider-Man movies, and I've said that well they hired James Gunn, and like
Oh yeah,
these like these Marvel directors, like it's so funny, like they got their start making like weird shit like Clown or like the Toxic Avenger in terms of James Gunn or fuck, what was that movie called? Slither.
yeah.
And these directors, they start out by making weird shit, and then Marvel just hires them to make these multi-million-dollar movies. Like on Jon Watts' IMDb page, he had made Clown, he made one other movie, and then he made Spider-Man: Homecoming. Like it's so fucking weird the career trajectories of these directors.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure like how Disney decides to hire these guys. I don't know. Maybe they
Yeah,
just choose people who they're like, oh, you know, they've only ever done low budget shit. They'll do anything as long as we throw a lot of money at them, right?
yeah, right. Like as long as we pay them relatively well. I really don't know, but it is kind of interesting to see like a movie like this that's so like out there. Like it's not like I said, I didn't really enjoy this movie particularly, but it was definitely like fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about how this person went on to direct movies of the most popular comic book character ever.
Yeah, the most popular.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But
Well, that was Clown. I do have a couple, like two more facts for this movie just before we end this off.
let's hear it.
Did you know that this movie was actually created based off of a trailer, a fake
What?
trailer? Yeah,
No, I didn't know that.
yeah. Eli Roth actually did a fake movie trailer that he was going to present at like a film festival.
Mhm.
And then after he presented that fake film or that fake trailer, he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm actually gonna make that." And that's
Huh.
how this came to be.
It kind of seems like it too, like because like we mentioned, there is like literally no story for this movie
Yeah,
whatsoever. So it does kind of seem like an idea that spawned off of a fake trailer.
yeah, and that's
Huh.
exactly how it is. So it's like a YouTube video turned into a movie. And then second piece of fact is this movie's actually rated higher than the current new Jurassic Park movie.
That makes sense to me. Wait, are you telling me, Paul, that the movie Clown is rated higher than the end of the Jurassic Park saga that was definitely planned since the very beginning?
Yes. the Jurassic Park movie, as it stands, is currently at 3,000% or 30% from 3,000 reviews. So
You are blowing my mind right now. You mean to tell me that the epic conclusion to the Jurassic Park saga that was definitely not just made up in the early 2000s is doing worse than the movie Clown?
yes, it is doing worse than a movie that was created by a fake trailer. So there you go, guys.
Crazy.
If you had to choose between Jurassic World Dominion and Clown, now you know.
Well, you gotta watch Clown. Okay, I want to see the budget of Jurassic World Dominion. It has to be
Probably hundreds of millions of
a
dollars.
movie with literally 185 times the budget of Clown.
Yeah, I gotta know actually before we end this thing. I have to know.
The budget for Jurassic World Dominion is $185 million.
Oof. And it's only made 145 domestic.
I mean, that's kind of crazy for a movie that came out this weekend.
That's true. But you know what? Clown actually made 2.3 box office. So yeah.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, they made their money back on this movie. So
yeah,
there you go, bitch.
That's kind of impressive. I would expect this movie's box office to be like in the 100,000s. I didn't know that it like made money.
Dude, why do you hate Clown so much, huh?
I don't hate Clown. I think that this movie it's definitely not the worst movie we've ever seen. I think the crowning achievement of fucking awful movies that we've seen on this channel has to go to Satanic. That is by far the worst movie we've seen on this channel so far.
By far.
It's not the best either. I would say that goes to Bite, maybe. But it's somewhere in the middle. It's like kind of boring and kind of hilarious in some aspects. Like when I can't believe we completely forgot to mention this, but when Peterstromer kills the family dog and chops its head off, and the dog is like still running around for a little bit after it gets its head cut off, that shit was peak comedy.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
I'm surprised the woman. Oh yeah, it was funny because the woman didn't react to it.
Oh yeah, a lot of the acting in this movie was so flat, where she was just like, "Dude, you killed my fucking dog, man. What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but yeah, that was Clown. It was, not the worst, but also not the best. Kind of somewhere in the middle. I can definitely see someone watching this and legitimately getting a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Noah, what did you think of Clown?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was offensively bad like Satanic. I didn't think it was hilariously bad like Bite. But it was kind of somewhere in the middle. It's a movie that made me laugh quite a bit. The premise of it is very silly, and I wish they didn't take it so seriously, because a lot of the scenes in this movie take itself way too seriously. And if they played it as sort of like a dark comedy, it might have worked a little better.
Oh yeah, I definitely would have.
But it's fine. If you're afraid of clowns, you might get something out of this. But it was okay. What about you? What did you think of it?
Well, would you recommend it?
A soft yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
You mentioned dark comedy, and I just wanted to throw at you that the catchphrase for this movie on its poster is "No one is safe." That's
wow, that's so boring.
No one is safe under a giant font with clown.
Is that really the catchphrase? I can't think of a more generic catchphrase for that movie.
That is the catchphrase. It goes, "Clown, no one is safe."
Come the fuck on.
That's the fucking poster. They couldn't fucking say like, I don't know, when he comes a honking, you better be a locking your door or something like that. Like, come on. Come on.
Or something like, the circus is coming to town, and so is he.
Yeah, that would have been much Yeah, that would have been much better. Just that.
That's how you know no one gave a shit about this. No
It's
one
not
is
hard.
safe.
It is not fucking hard to come up with this shit. Come on.
Yeah, we just give you 2 for free.
Yeah, I would. I'd recommend this. I think
Yeah.
it's a fun time.
Mhm.
I think the first 30 minutes are pretty fun, and then maybe after that you can have a couple drinks and talk to your friends while you're like looking at stuff on Twitter or Instagram, and then
Yeah.
once the like final act occurs, you'll be like, oh, okay, cool. You know?
That's a great fucking summary, Paul, where you watch the first 20 minutes of this, go on your phone, check your email, check Twitter for like the next hour, and then watch like the last 15 minutes of it, and you'll be like, no, that wasn't bad.
Yeah. Not bad. Yeah, I'd give it like a soft yes as well.
Okay.
Maybe 1 thumbs up.
All right. There you go. All right. So for next week's episode, we actually have something a little bit interesting. It's a more research heavy episode. So I'm kind of doing a lot of research on a movie called Freaks from 1933, I think, or 1932. And we'll have our good friend Chris joining us. And we're going to be talking about that. But that'll be next week's episode. So stay tuned for that. And after that, I have another movie that I'm very excited to show Paul. I haven't seen it personally, but I know of it and I know of its reputation and legacy. So I'll just leave you guys with a little one-word teaser of the only horror movie on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that'll be 2 weeks from now. So next week will be Freaks, and then the week after that will be the movie that we're talking about. So yeah, I'm super fucking excited. Thanks everyone for listening to this episode. We apologize if it was a little bit frantic. This movie was kind of all over the place, so maybe this episode felt that way maybe this episode felt the same way, but appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys subscribing. Please be sure to share with all your pals and help us grow a little bit more because we have very ambitious ideas for this channel.
Yes.
And
I'm pretty damn excited to see how the future brings us. We're almost to a year.
I know. We got to do something special for our year.
Cannot believe we've been here for a fucking year.
But you can find me, obviously, you'll see in the video itself, but I am Crusty Noe at Twitter. And Paul, where can people find you?
You can find me currently at /Chokinanakins on pretty much just about everything.
Yeah.
I might change it in the future, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks so much for listening again, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.